practice. Okay, that is for the ethical and legal issues part 1. Okay, but for today's session, we will focus on the topics of ethics and legal issues. Okay, especially on the ethical guidelines for psychological assessment and also the use of psychological tests. Okay. No slides. No slides. You can't see my slides, girl. Get well soon, Anis.
Not yet.
Oh, not yet.
I can see the slide now.
Okay. So,
First page.
I can see the slide. Okay, all right. So I think there's someone who can't see my slides. Siapa tadi? Ying Ji Chiang. Do you have any problem to view my slides on your computer?
Okay, it's okay now, doctor. You can see now.
Okay. All right. Okay, so we just proceed. I think we have new students here. Elif Mamvis. Can you introduce yourself? I've never seen your name before this.
Hi.
Students.
Hi. Good evening.
Are you a registered student in this course?
Yes. I'm student for the 502 actually.
But not for 504, right?
No, not yet. Hopefully next year.
Okay, so I think we should see each other next year.
Yes, I'm looking forward to.
Okay.
Thank you, doctor. My name is Elif Mamkus. I'm from Sweden.
Okay. Yeah, nice meeting you. Yeah.
Nice meeting you. Thank you for your time.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Elif.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, I think there's no problem. Thank you, Shirley. Yes, but yeah, it's okay. I just don't mind. But the most important is if I ask you verbally, please provide some response lah, so that I don't feel lonely. Okay, because I'm still in my office. Okay, and then I think you already know what happened in HUSM right now. Okay. It's quite very quiet, okay, because this morning I came to office at 8:30, and the parking lot is still empty, okay, so it's a very quite awkward weird situations in HUSM right now, but it's okay. I think I can retain my focus if I work in my office, okay, so that's why I'm here. But okay, so we just proceed. All right. So outline. Okay. So actually today we have I divided our lecture to 5 parts so that you won't get confused about moral philosophy, principle of ethics, overview of psychological testing and assessment, and also we're going to see the ethics in psychological testing and assessment. Okay. So that is our agenda for today. All right. Okay, part 1, law and ethics. So this is I just want to give you some basic understanding on the concept of law and ethics. Okay. All right. So I have a question to ask you. So what is law and what is ethics? Please, and anyone, can you volunteer to answer? What does it mean by law and what does it mean by ethics? And what are the difference between these two terms? Yes.
I can try to explain maybe. Law is more regulations, more rules that is following for made by my for in society that it has rules and regulations that's under the law. Ethics are more is human, what is right, what is wrong, but that can also come from traditions or also from beliefs.
Mhm. Okay, I think that is correct. Eli, thank you. Ethics is based on culture, laws is set by government. Yeah. I think most of you know lah, yeah, what are the difference between law and ethics. Okay. But I'm sure lah, yeah, Dr. Nasir has already taught you about these two concepts. Okay. And please bear with me, okay? Please be patient because some of the content of my lecture today might be a bit redundant, okay, with what you have learned with Dr. Nasir on previous lectures, yeah, because our topics is similar, okay? Ethics and legal issues, okay? The basic knowledge is the similar things, okay? It's just that today the scope will be on the subject of testing and assessment. Okay, so this is law and okay, so law. Okay, law may be understood as the systematic set of universally accepted rules and regulation created by an appropriate authority such as government, which may be regional, national, or international, and etc. And it is used to govern the action and behavior of the members and can be enforced by imposing penalties. I think Elif has also mentioned about this. Okay, and ethics, I think some of you, many of you define what ethics is. Okay, so ethics are principles that guide a person or society created to decide what is good or bad, right or wrong in a given situation. And it regulates a person's behavior or conduct and helps an individual in living a good life by applying the moral rules and guidelines. Okay, so Dr. Nasi has covered this one, right? Before? Am I right? So, okay, a little bit more information lah, yeah, about law and ethics. Okay, so every professional, every professional practice has its own ethical responsibilities and it is governed by law. Okay, and today I think I will use the example of clinical psychologists and cognitive neuroscientists as professional individuals. Okay, so why clinical psychology? Because I think today we will discuss about ethical guidelines in testing and assessment. Okay, and I think in any profession, yeah, career or job, okay, all of us are bounded by ethical responsibilities and we are governed by law. Okay, and I think as a professional, of course, we cannot do things as how we wish. Okay, for example, okay, me as a lecturer or academic staff at the university, I also have a code of ethics that I need to strictly follow. Okay, and of course, in terms of research, publication, teaching, yeah, community involvement, apa lagi, dress code, yeah, communication, communication or interaction with students, colleagues. Okay, everything is governed by ethical conduct, and there is a law behind it. Okay, there is always a rule for everything. Okay, I think I just realized someone says that he or she cannot hear my voice. Did you all can hear my voice clearly, right?
Can, doctor?
Yes, doctor. You can hear, doctor?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, doctor.
Okay, so next point. Okay, ethics and law are both result from communal conversations about basic values and guidelines that support community living. Okay, so one of the primary objective of the existence of law and ethics is to make sure that we all live in harmony. Okay, so the formula of law and ethics may overlap, but they do not always conquer. Okay, they did not always agree with each other. Okay, so what does it mean? Anybody, can you think of an example of how to explain the third point? The formula of law and ethics may overlap, but they do not always conquer or agree with each other. Anyone? Mm-hmm. Tak payah type lah. You can just answer it verbally.
Doctor, I'm not so sure, but is it something like confidentiality when the psychologist is summoned to court? They are supposed to be honest, but due to the ethics of a psychologist, they are not supposed to reveal the conversation they have with the client.
Mm-hmm. I can catch your example. Can you repeat, Melissa?
Um,
Yeah.
So I was talking about like is it like because like psychologists and client they have this confidentiality, so they are not supposed to discuss their case to anyone else, but when they are summoned to court, so they probably need to talk about the client case. Is that one of the conflict?
Mm-hmm. Oh, that is the breach of ethical guideline. I think. I don't know, but actually, when I mentioned about the third point, actually it means that in some situations, an action may be legal but unethical. Okay. On the other hand, it can also happen where certain action is illegal but they are ethical. Okay, for example, I think the use of euthanasia is illegal in certain countries, but it is ethical in some instances. I think for your, I'm not sure, but yeah, I'm looking forward to hear your presentation on that issue. Okay, so there is a conflict there between law and ethics, and that's why ethical decisions is important. Okay. Yes, Asmarul, you want to say anything ke?
Tak ada doktor, sorry. Tak pasal I tengah unmute, sorry.
Oh, okay. Please.
Not yet.
Not yet. Yeah. Please feel free kalau ada apa-apa yang you want to contribute your opinions on certain points. Okay.
Will do.
Okay. Thank you. All right. Okay. Next. Oops. Okay, this one is a comparison, comparison chart of law and ethics. Okay, I think it's very simple. Okay, I pun just took it from one of the website, which basically they mention or discuss about differences in terms, that the general community always get confused between law and ethics. Okay, I hope that you can see the reference. I don't know why it covered. Can you see the website here?
Not really, doctor. We can half of it, only half of it. It's not clear.
They're covered by log all task. I think I should. The cover. Okay, now you can see, right?
Yes, doctor.
I don't know why it. Let me fix, because I think all the reference is also important if you want to do further reading or revision. No, it doesn't look like. Okay, never mind. Okay. Okay, it's okay lah. I will share lah any information yang you need the reference. Okay. So these are the comparison chart between law and ethics. And these are the definition of law. I think mostly I have mentioned this during the description of what is law and ethics. Okay. And this the definition of ethics. I think definition of ethics here is interesting. Okay, so it says here by ethics, we mean that branch of moral philosophy that guides people about what is good or bad. Yeah? It is a collection of fundamental concepts and principles of an ideal human character. So the principle helps us in making decisions regarding what is right or wrong. It informs us about how to act in particular situation and also to make judgment, to make better choice for ourselves. And ethics are the codes of conduct agreed and adopted by the people. Okay, it sets a standard of how a person should live and interact with other people. And I love that this the diagram. Okay, they describe four different type of ethics. Okay, so first one is normative ethics. Okay, the moral standards that regulate the right and wrong behavior or conduct. Okay, and then there is personal ethics. Okay, maybe it refers to your personal values, your moral. Okay, for example, being honest, loyal, okay, responsible, apa lagi, integrity, and so on lah. Okay, and then there is social ethics, values or behavior that is important in maintaining harmony in our community, in our society. And also there is a professional ethics, okay, ethical principles that govern individuals' behavior and decision in work setting lah, okay, in clinical setting, in business and so on. Alright. Okay, next I have slides on society and moral belief. Okay, so one of the sources of law and ethics is the society's moral belief. Okay. I think Shaliza has also mentioned about this. Okay. And then Hanisa said that based on culture. So basically, it's the same thing. Like it comes from society. Okay, so society's moral belief provides the reason underlying many laws, such as those regarding murder, child abuse, or rape. And the moral belief also guides the authorized punishment of those who violate the laws. Okay, what to do with people who steal, do robbery, rape, murder, apa lagi, not wearing a face mask, not abiding to physical distance regulations. Okay, all of these have its own consequences. Okay, so for the first 3 point, okay, maybe we can relate to the implementation of Sharia law or hudud law. Okay, but I'm not an expert in that. Okay, it's just that I think that it can be relate lah, best to relate to the condition of Sharia law. So we know that there are few countries here who implement the Sharia law. For example, in Indonesia, Brunei, Saudi Arabia, Afghanistan, Sudan, and I read some regions in Nigeria. Okay, they do this Sharia law. Okay, but dia punya apa tu further explanation tu, I think we should not discuss here lah. Okay, so it shows there that how the moral belief also guides the authorized punishment of those who violate the laws. Okay, and then the last one. Okay, the law and ethics also regulates individual and organizational behavior in areas that involve pragmatic rather than moral issues. Okay, and this includes, I think, give signal. Okay, when you want to turn left or right. Okay, when you are driving, and also, abiding by society. All government office should be closed during Malaysian celebration like Deepavali, Christmas, and so on. So they are the examples of the pragmatic issues lah. Okay, rather than the moral issues. Okay, is there anyone who want to share anything about law and ethics before we move to our Next part. No one. Okay, it's okay because second part, I want to do some activity with you, okay, about the moral philosophy. Okay, so about the moral philosophy, I did check and contact Dr. Nasir, okay, because I tried to create my lecture content that are not too redundant with him lah, okay, and I found that he did not include this topic in his lectures on the ethical and legal issues. So that is why I want to include the discussion on moral philosophy for my class today. Okay, so I think at least there is something new lah, that we learn, and because if we talk about ethics, of course it is related to morality, right? All right. Yes, anyone who want to say anything? Ramesh?
Not at the moment.
Oh, okay. No, because I can identify those who open their mic, so I thought that you want to say anything. Okay.
No.
So, for this part two, moral philosophy, or in some books, the author call it as moral theories. Okay. I will divide you in 5 groups, because there are 5 well-known moral philosophy. Okay, that is Kantianism, okay, utilitarianism, formalism, pragmatism, and naturalism. Okay, so maybe we spend 10 minutes, okay, for you to search for information. I think 10 minutes is enough for you to Google, okay, read it and develop your understanding, okay. Then we share with class on the output of your searching and reading, okay. And I think the most important thing is that I want you to share with us the background, okay, the background devised by siapa, okay, the principles of this moral philosophy, the rules, or maybe the formula for this philosophy. And please use simple words, okay, because I tried to read a few books on moral philosophy, but it is very wordy. Okay, so difficult for me to understand. Okay, so there is a lot of jargon that I found. It's hard for me to understand. Okay, but I think with resource from Google, I believe that the contents or explanation would be easier and lighter lah. Okay. All right. So now I will break you to 5 groups. Okay. Then you just follow the order of this list. Okay. And if you have any problem, then you just notify me or call me in that breakout room. Okay. So I will give right now. Yes. Schedule because I just want to spend 10 minutes lah for this activity. Okay. Because we have other topics. Okay. Just share with us after about me. All right. You prefer to provide slides or just simple notes at the work? I'm not sure. Which one do you prefer?
Maybe simple notes and then describe when during presentation.
Presentation. Yes, I think notes is good because it can facilitate your presentation as well, right? Okay, thank you. Okay, I will break you into a few groups now. I always lost now. Functions. The functions always. Okay. All right. Now it works. I need to stop sharing first. Okay, I will create now. 1, 2, 3.
Hello. Hello, hi.
Hello,
Hi. So,
Kantian.
Kantianalism. Our topic is Kantianalism. No, Kantianism. Sorry, Kantia?
Kantianism is philosophy based on Immanuel Kant.
So we put in the. Oh, okay. Okay. History and background. Kita boleh ambil dekat mana-mana website saja kan? So maybe this link can help. Kantianism. The great research. Principal can offer the board. Objective if reality to Okey, dia punya kepercayaan dia tarikah dia apa? Tarikah dia macam mana ni?
Sorry, come again.
Korang betul ke dia punya kepercayaan dia adalah practical reason, theoretical reason tu antara dia elemen yang dalam Kantianism ni dia ada kategori dia. So kategori dia metaphysical, epistemological, ethical and physiological, psychological. Betul. Kantianism ni dibahagikan kepada jenis dan juga kategori seperti metafizikal. Kau saya salah ni? Sekejap metafisik. Okay. Ya, mana dapat ni? Okay, no problem. Boleh lah. Boleh.
Ada satu present ni.
Apa?
Still
Baca
trying to
je kan?
understand. I'm still going through the notes.
Kalau baca je lah, tak apa. Ke Anis faham? Anis boleh tolong bacakan? Kesian Anis, dia tak sihat. Tak apalah, saya tolong bacakan.
Thank you.
Okay, everyone, welcome back. So, group 1, Kantianism, are you ready?
Okay.
Okay, so I will stop sharing my slide and show your notes now.
Anis share slide notes.
How many of us in the group?
Asmaro, our group got 4 people.
Oh, now our breaking session has stopped.
24 people.
Yes, Asmaro.
Kenapa dengan Azmara ni?
So sad.
I've been reading the Google documents and
Okay. Kantianism.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, very good.
Okay. The Kantianism is the ethical theory that introduced by the German philosopher Immanuel Kant in the 18th century. So, according to him, the morality of an action is not based on its consequences, and this theory belongs to deontological moral theories, which focus on the responsibility, moral duty, and commitment. So, Kant postulate that this theory is the guideline for people to make ethical decision and action, and he believed that the intention behind the action were important than the consequences. So there is differences between Kantianism versus utilitarianism. So Kantianism is the moral philosophy that focus on the moral of the action and not determined by the consequences, by the motivation of the doer. And then but utilitarianism is the moral philosophy introduced by Jeremy Bentham, John Stuart Mill, Henry, and they emphasize that morality is the action and decision that determined by its consequences.
I think for utilitarianism, you should just give to group 2.
Oh, okay.
Oh, thank you, group 1.
Just
No.
just differences.
No, it's okay. So Kantianism.
Yeah.
Yeah, so finish?
Yes.
Okay. So just to summarize everything. Okay, so like what Anis said, Kantianism is the ethics of Immanuel Kant emphasize on what we're supposed to do. Okay, and sorry, one of the popular views, or some people call it as an extreme view, is that Kant, he tried to encourage or suggest that some ethical rules should never be broken, regardless of the consequence, because Kantianism, they believe that motive are everything. Okay, so next, dia punya verses ni, okay, utilitarianism. Group 2, please. Okay.
Okay, so for utilitarianism is one of the most powerful and persuasive approaches to normative ethics in the history of philosophy. So though not fully articulated until the 19th century, proto-utilitarian positions can be discerned throughout the history of ethical theory. So I'm passing it to the next speaker.
Okay, so the general view for this is that the morally right action is the action that produces the most good. And one thing to note is that the theory is a form of consequentialism, where it means that the right action is understood entirely in terms of the consequence it produced. So there's a question that arises: what is the difference between utilitarianism from egoism? So it is in the relevant scope of its consequence. For utilitarian view, we ought to maximize the overall good, that is to consider the good of others as well as our own good. That's it.
Okay, that's it for utilitarianism. So actually the main idea of
we got
ada lagi?
So we have the classical utilitarians, Jeremy Bentham and John Stuart Mill. They identified the good with pleasure. So like Epicurus, where hedonist about value, hedonist is a pleasure seeker. So these people, they held that we should maximize the good, that is bring about the greatest amount of good for the greatest number, meaning that the result of the action or decision should benefit the majority.
So basically, it's like utilitarianism is also distinguished by impartiality and agent neutrality. Everyone's happiness counts the same. So they try to maximize the good, and the good, it is the good that is impartially considered. But my good counts for no more than anyone else good. Yeah, basically that's it. Next speaker.
Next speaker. Ada lagi ke? That's it for utilitarianism. I think the main idea of utilitarianism is that they highlight on the consequence. Okay, only consequence matter. Okay, not like Kantianism. Okay, individual motive are not relevant. Okay, utilitarian. Oh, so complicated to pronounce. All right, so now we go to group 3 for formalism.
Doctor, we didn't get to compile, but we will be sharing our points to the chat.
Okay, very good.
Yeah. So
I compile, Nisha.
Oh, thanks, Kak.
Can you see?
Yeah, I can see. So I'll quickly read this. So the background is that it emerged in Prussia and Poland, and it's known as ethical formalism or absolutism.
Absolutism. Oh, okay. I just noticed them. Okay.
Okay. So Nisha is still talking? Sorry.
No, Kak, you can take over.
Okay. So it is called absolutism because that will be the absolute rule of it. So right will always be right and wrong will always be wrong all the time. So ethical formalism is defined as ethical theory that defines moral based off the logic and reasons, which say if something is defined as wrong or right, it is defined like I mentioned earlier all the time. Example given is abortion will always be wrong all the time without any exception given. So Ramesh, you want to share about the criticism?
Okay, regarding the criticism, because of its very rigid, because its rigidity, it cannot be flexible. So therefore, it does not accept any cultural or societal influence. So it's like law. Law is a very formal kind of thing. Therefore, it is. That's why we call it formalism theory. A law of a country, rules and regulations. Okay, they are not flexible in that sense. So it also ignores other things like modes, the way in which something occurs. They don't care about how things happens, how things works. And also in genre, the style, the content is not is disregarded. Okay, and also the way it is being like written and spoken communications, all those background things. Okay, the configurations of something is totally disregarded in formalism. So it is criticized that it is not flexible. So as we live in a society, we need to kind of have some flexibility. So formalism theory does not give that. So that's what my understanding is, Doctor. Thank you.
Okay, it's good to know that formalism, a very rigid philosophy. Okay, not flexible at all. All right, so thank you, Ramesh and team. Okay, now we go to pragmatism. Okay, what is pragmatism? Group 4? Okay.
Hello, can you see my slide?
Yes.
Okay, pragmatism is basically a derived from Greek word, which is pragma, which means word, practice, action, or activity. Pragmatism is starts from the inside that words are two. Nobody ever decided, for example, nobody ever decided that lion would mean a furry creature with teeth. Then over time, people found this syllable was useful for pointing out the dangerous creatures. This helped them to survive and thrive. Okay, for the definition, pragmatism is defined as an approach to things that focuses on the practical or logical response. Addressing problems logically and practically is an example of pragmatism. An example of pragmatism is they consider something to be true without needing to confirm that it is universally true. Humans commonly perceive beautiful, then the ocean is beautiful. Therefore, it is an approach that evaluates theories or beliefs in terms of utility. It holds for ethical principles being social contract. Here are all these and the idealists. The primarily more focused on the practical. So you can see here that the idealists say that they have so many ideas to make a revolution, but the pragmatists more focus on things that practical, like how about you just take out the garbage and do the dishes, because that's what they think should is more important, work, practice and action. I think that's my understanding. Does anyone want to share in my group? Okay, thank you.
All right, so thank you, Team 4, for pragmatism. Okay. Now I know lah apa tu, the general idea of pragmatism, which focus on practical things, practicality rather than, I don't know, maybe being creative or so on. Okay, now we go to naturalism. Team 5, please.
Sorry, hold on. I'm having a slight technical problem here.
Okay, it's okay.
All right. Would anybody like to go first? Or should I?
Maybe I can go first. Sorry,
Okay.
I was speaking. Okay. So from what we can find, they basically argue that our sense of morality should be derived from the natural world. So it's actually relating to how we are as a human being and how we react and respond to the environment in itself. So as you can see, it was influenced by Darwinism view, natural selection, and also psychology. They can be divided into two: realist and non-realist. Realists, naturalists believe that moral properties are a subset of natural properties, or are in some sense identical with or constituted by such properties. So, from what I understand from it, is that they believe that our sense of morality should be rooted in how we react to the world. In fact, Mill's view of classical utilitarianism can be categorized under naturalism, I believe. While non-realists believe that although we can speak of moral properties, those properties are not themselves real in the way that natural properties are. So I guess you can say that our sense of morality, it's related to our sense of reality, but it's not necessarily a direct sort of source. So you can consider it as an emergent property, I believe. I think, I don't know, maybe Hong wants to add something more, one moral.
Yep.
Uh, well, my understanding basically, when I read one of the article, there was an example about linguistics. I think that's pretty easy for me to explain because linguistics is my area. Take an example because in the first place, when people like some linguists come up with generative grammar theory, about how we develop the language, basically they said it's more philosophical because it's just based on the assumption. Then over the years, when some of the linguist theories, came out about developmental language or development of the language where children basically develop the language naturally instead of what they were born with it. I think that's about it. I'm not sure whether that suits here or not.
Okay. Yeah, betul key points lah. Because are you finished in 5?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Sorry. Hong is going to add on something.
Yeah. So, from my understanding, like if a person is a naturalist, they will believe that an individual is a helpless object because they believe that human existence is determined and influenced by natural forces at large. And naturalists believe that nature is indifferent to human problems. I think I do believe this I believe this as well because I feel like, irregardless of what you do, like summer, winter, autumn, spring, it will happen regardless. And naturalists also believe that humanity has no control over fate because they believe that fate is determined by one's own environment. That's it. Shazwani, you have anything else to share?
Yeah. My understanding is ethical naturalism is all about defining a good as something non-moral. So it is a belief that moral truths are facts, and then they are not views or opinions, or are they based on the intuitions. So when we observe that something is wrong, it is a moral facts of the universe. As example, when I see or observe a murder, I do not just observe the facts that someone has been killed, but I also observe the fact that it is literally wrong actually. So actually, we can see that naturalism is a good that can bring happiness and which is can helping others bring happiness. Therefore, when we helping others, it's good actually. From my understanding lah.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
All right. So actually, naturalism, what I understand is that, like what who says, they believe in the power or the laws of nature, right? The main principle. Okay. So I know, that the topic on moral philosophy is difficult. Okay, and it is confusing as well from me. Okay, Kantianism, utilitarianism, okay, formalism, pragmatism, naturalism. But okay, a clue to you. Okay, we won't put this topic for your final exam. So just want to give you.
Alhamdulillah.
Yes, Alhamdulillah. Yeah, I know. Okay, so I just want to give you exposure, to all of this philosophy. Okay, so all right. Okay, now I will continue to share my screen. Okay. Oops. Right. Okay, so now we go to part 3, okay? Principle of ethics. This one is important, okay? And I know that you are already familiar with this, okay? Dr. Nasir has taught you about this as well, okay? But since I already prepared some contents on this, so let us do revision and share together, okay, whatever knowledge about this that you already know, lah, okay? Okay, principle of ethics. So, what is actually the ethical principles? Anyone? Who want to try, or maybe you just revise whatever that Dr. Nasir gave you before? It might be different from what I've prepared. Sequence. Yeah, anyone? But okay, let's say yes. It's okay, I'll just share mine lah, okay, because we are running late already. Okay, so according, I took this from biomedical ethics. There is a PDF available, okay. According to Beauchamp, okay, 2001, okay, ethical principles are guides to moral decision making and moral action. Okay, it is a center on the formation of moral judgment in professional practice. Okay, so some of you, yes, you want to say anything?
Tapi tak ada percaya pada restu mak bapak, restu suami. Bimbingan suami itu dia
Azmarul yang baik.
yang tak ada bersama dengan dia setiap langkah.
Okay.
Doctor, can I say that ethic is something that related to human?
Yes, of course.
Just for example, like if you are doing research, right? Anything that we shouldn't harm the. If you're doing research on the human subject, we should think about their. We don't harm the subjects in terms of their confidentiality and physical, and also their health, lah, basically. Yeah, psychology and all that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a very good point of view. Okay, so ethics related to human lah, kan? Human yang ada ethics. Okay, so to elaborate more, I think like Azmarul, he's already a professional in speech therapy. He's a speech therapist, and I think all of you will going to be a professional soon. Okay, in each of us as a professional, we have a rule of thumb. Okay, it acts as a guide. Yeah, so that when we need to do any moral decision, yeah, that involves ethics, or maybe legal issues, we can make a wise judgment. Okay, a prompt judgment. Okay, so ethical principle. Okay, so yeah, these ethical principles. I think I have another one here. Oh yeah. So yeah, this principle of ethics generally serve two roles. That are first to justify either the actions of certain kind should or should not be performed. Okay, either it can harm your participants' psychology or physical health. Okay, and second, it serves to justify the rules that are often followed in practice. Okay, either in medical care, okay, cognitive neuroscience, clinical psychology service, and so on. All right, so we just do it quickly now. Okay, okay, principles of ethics. So actually, I have identifiers as seven. Yeah, principle of ethics. Okay, beneficence, non-maleficence, justice, autonomy, veracity, fidelity, and confidentiality. Okay, just go on. Okay, so beneficence. Beneficence means the obligation to do good, the obligation to provide benefit. Okay, and I think all of us, we have this obligation to do good to other people, or other living beings. And I think other concept that is related to this ethical of beneficence are altruism, morality, and goodness. Okay, and yes. Okay, this is I just found this this evening. Okay, I found this interesting paper, about doing good, altruism, and then I just want to share with you about what's in it, for the workers. Altruism in this initially puzzled Darwin. Okay, so I'm sure this. I think this is a book review by me, but I haven't got opportunity to read it yet. But I think this one is good research questions lah, okay? Mhm. All right. So actually, I want to do another activity. Okay. So non-maleficence. Non-maleficence. It means the obligation to avoid doing harm. All right. And then we go here. Okay, this is important. Okay, so there is a notion which states that the non-maleficence is sometimes seen to be stronger than the duty to do good or beneficence. Okay, so discuss with examples. Okay, so I don't know. I think we should do include lah, because I think this question is important. Okay, so I just want you to give an example, where the maleficence is more important than beneficence. Okay, and please understand these two concepts. Okay, so I want you to spend a few minutes, okay, to answer this question. Can So I think I will divide you into two groups lah. Okay, two groups. Okay, tak? Two groups only. Okay, we take about 5 minutes. Okay, then we discuss with examples. Okay, so to answer these questions, we need creativity lah. Okay, so I will divide you into groups now. Only two groups because we want to. Okay, please answer this question. Okay. Okay.
Yes.
The question.
The question is why non-maleficent is important than beneficent, is it? In what situation? Is that the question?
The question is non-maleficent is sometimes seems to be stronger than the duty to do good or beneficent.
Doctor, I think the grouping was we were in the previous group.
It is a previous group, yeah.
Yeah, we had more than 2 groups.
Oh, so you want to continue or I don't know?
Our group didn't manage to discuss the we can share.
Okay, let's I think it's a technical issues in breakout room, so I don't want to waste more time. Okay, so actually, okay, anyone, whoever who have an opinion on this, can you please share how you want to answer these questions? Anyone?
Is it like being kind is more important than being right? And like in the case of a clinical psychologist where they have to help a pedophile to improve their well-being or to understand the situation and the fact that the person is a pedophile. So
kind is
so to be kind is to assist and understand or assess.
It's difficult, yeah, I know. Okay, to answer these questions, we need further discussions lah with group members. But I don't know why the breakout sessions is not working tonight. But it's okay. Okay, we left another half an hour. So actually, this is my thoughts on this notion or this question. Okay, so maybe you can think creatively based on my example that I gave you. Okay. So we take an example of a doctor or anyone in medical field. Okay, sometimes we know that the resources, the equipment, facilities or staff, they are not good enough, or not good enough. The facilities of staff are not good enough to do good or to provide the best care for the patients. Okay, and therefore it makes it impossible for this doctor to fulfill their duty of beneficence. Okay, the duty of to do good. Okay, but on the other hand, to avoid causing harm and injury to others is something that is within that individual capacity and resources. Okay, so that is why in certain situations, the duty of non-maleficence is seen to be stronger than the duty of beneficence. Okay, so the idea is that you need to be very wise and clear about the boundaries of the obligation to provide benefits and to avoid harms when dealing with patients, clients, or participants if you are a researcher. So I think you can capture the idea of this question. Okay, please be creative and do more reading on beneficence and non-maleficence and try to come up with creative example on how beneficence non-maleficence is more important than beneficence. Okay, So I repeat, this ethical dilemma on this issue is important. Okay, do further readings on this issue lah. Okay. All right.
Question, doctor, one question here.
Mm-hmm.
Ramesh, this discuss with examples you have mentioned. How many kind of examples shall we give for this?
Only one example. Only one example. But the example need to show how avoid doing harm is more important than doing good. Okay. So you need to spend some time lah to think or to think creatively lah, yeah, on how to address this question. Okay, based on the information or example that I gave you. All right. Okay.
Okay, thank you, doctor.
Okay, thank you, Ramesh, for your question. All right, so we proceed with slides. Okay, this one is just a revision of ethics code. Okay, this is not important. Okay, but actually just to show that there is a revision in the APA code on avoiding harm. Okay, non-maleficence. All right, the third one is justice. Okay, so justice, it is a ethical principle that relates to fair, equitable, and appropriate treatment in light of what is due or owed to persons. Okay, recognizing that giving things to some will deny receipt to others who might otherwise have received those things. Okay, I think it's very explicit lah, ya, saya nak faham. Okay, and next one is autonomy. All right, so actually the word autonomy, it literally means self-governing. Okay, it refers to the freedom to make choices about issues that affects one's life. They should be free from lies, restraint, or coercion. Okay, and so that's the meaning of autonomy. Okay, respect for autonomy is closely linked to the notion of respect for person. Okay. And if you don't have a respect to another person, and I think it is almost impossible for you to give them autonomy. Okay, so in experimental context, each participant has the right to withdraw from the study at any time. Okay, there should be no restraint or coercion. I think this is similar with the idea that Asmara has said about the relations of ethics and human. Okay. Okay, next I have slides on veracity. Okay, so veracity relates to the practice of telling the truth. Okay, we all know that truthfulness is a universal virtue. Okay, no one likes when other people lie to them. Okay, and most of us were taught as a child to always tell the truth, right, to other people. So as a professionals, openness and honesty are very important. And as a researcher as well, during data collection, there are certain information such as the objective of the study, our hypothesis. Okay, we need to conceal this information to our participants. Okay, so we do have this kind of deception, but it is not lying. Okay, but I read it somewhere. I think you have come across this point as well. Okay, there is a distinction actually between lying and deception. Okay, so lying is happens when you purposely telling the untruth. Okay, and deception is usually accomplished through non-disclosure. Okay, you hide a bit of information. Okay, so this is usually what researchers do lah, for the benefits of their own research. Okay, but after all, after everything ends, we give our participants a debriefing session, right? Okay, next is about fidelity. Okay, so fidelity is keeping one's promises. Okay, it concerns with building trusting relationships. Okay, between doctors or nurse to patients. Okay, or researchers and so on lah. Okay, so and last one is confidentiality. Okay, this is very general. Okay, not to disclose personal and sensitive information, and professionals may disclose confidential information only when doing so is necessary to protect the welfare of the person. Okay, it maybe it involves jenayah, okay, with the cases. All right, and then I have ethical principles, cross-cultural issues. Okay. So I think you always need to remember these principles. Okay, it applies in most of the professional settings. Okay, and it is recognized throughout the world. Okay, however, the way in which these principles are applied in a given situation within a specific culture may differ. Okay, so I've read somewhere in nursing ethics communities in dialogue. Okay? For example, in most culture, it is believed that the medical practitioner they should not lie to patients. Okay, so this is an example of agreement on the principle of veracity. Okay, some behaviors would clearly be defined as lying in one country, but would not be defined as lying in another country. Okay, so what is it? The role of moral belief of society also plays a big role in guiding any ethical judgment. Okay, what constitutes a lie may differ between two cultures, two countries. Okay, so all the principles that we have discussed today might be applied differently in each country. Even though it sounds universal, but I think it is our responsibility to always check and learn about these cultural differences. Okay, and then I just checked and realized that Nisha said something 9 principles. I think 9 principles. Is this the one that Dr. Nasir shared with you last?
Yes, doctor. Yes.
Oh, okay. So actually, is it part of what we have discussed today? Because it depends lah on what books or readings that Dr. Nasir did compared to what I read. Okay. But I think mostly it's the same thing. Okay. Do not harm, respect autonomy, act fairly, act faithfully, accord dignity, act benevolently, pursue excellence and accountability. But for this topic, I think the most important is that you understand lah the jargon tu kan, beneficence, non-maleficence, what is veracity, fidelity, and so on. Okay. All right. Okay, now we go to part 4. Yeah? Overview of psychological testing and assessment.
Doctor,
Yes.
just very quick about non-maleficent just now. Can I say that non-maleficent is something that
Normal
if you
life.
are
Normal life.
non-maleficent.
Non-maleficent. Okay. Sorry. Non-maleficent. Okay.
Okay. Can I say something that if you are practitioner, that we should not we should treat everyone regardless of their gender, their backgrounds, their ethnicity, and so on. Is that something like that? Can I say that?
Non-maleficent is avoid doing harm. So I think it can be considered the same thing lah. Okay. You should not harm other people by being discriminate or being prejudiced with other gender ke age.
Okay.
I think it can be applied in that situation. Anything that can avoid harm. Okay, prejudice I think can bring harm. Okay, and then apa lagi? Tadi discriminations. And ageism. I hope that you know what is ageism. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Overview of psychological testing and assessment. Okay, so for me, I think it is important for us to know, or maybe to some of you who are not familiar with psychometric subjects, to revise on this topic about testing and assessment. Okay, I'm not sure. I think your background is quite diverse in this class. So I just want to do a quick survey. Is there anyone here who are not familiar with the term testing and assessment? linguistic dalam itu or biology, I think. Anyone?
I personally do not have much knowledge about psychological testing and assessment, but for this semester, I think we sort of covered it, learned it briefly on from Dr. Aini's lecture, if I'm not mistaken.
So from Dr. Aziza, right?
Dr. Aini.
Dr. Aini. Oh, okay. Be worried lah, if you don't have a first degree in psychology or something related to psychology. All right. So I think basically you know a bit lah about testing and assessment. Okay, so I may skip a few slides lah. Okay. So for example, these historical roots, okay, we know that psychological test and assessment has a long history, okay, so this one I will just skip lah. Alright, so what is testing? Okay, testing is actually the term that we use to refer to everything from the administration of a test to the interpretation of a test score. Okay, so that is testing. Okay, simple. Okay, what is assessment? Okay, so like any other field of study, the knowledge expanded from time to time. Okay, so the use of the term testing has received several criticisms. Okay, and the reasons for this criticism mostly they come from the views that says that the use of the term testing is limited because it is only a test, okay, administer and then you interpret, then come a score. Okay, so because the use of psychological testing has expanded, okay, from the history in military, okay, and then it's been used in education, in business, in recruitment, okay. So to achieve the objective, it involves many other procedures, okay. So it is now not limited to maybe answering questions, response to verbal questions, if it involves interview or maybe a pen and pencil test. Okay, so it says here the more advanced testing tools involves behavioral observation and active integration by assessors of test scores and other data. So now some of the scholars during that time, they assert that the term testing is not appropriate anymore and they introduce and use the term assessment. Okay, so the term assessment acknowledge that tests are only one type of tool used by professional assessors and that a test value is intimately linked to the knowledge, skill and experience of the assessor. Okay, so the scope is much wider lah. Okay. Alright, so assessment. This is actually several elaborations lah on what does it mean by assessment. Okay. So Sudenberg and Tyler define that tests are tools, okay, in the hands of a fool or an unscrupulous person, they become pseudo-scientific perversion. Okay, so in most evaluation contexts, it is the process of assessment that gives a meaning into the test score. Okay, and then Melanie and Ward, the statement shows how limited and rigid the test is. Okay, and Roberts and Margrove on side. Okay, so according to Roberts and Margrove, okay, it says that assessment may involve something more, okay, because it involves social context, okay, so maybe it involves a routine home visit or intermittent interview or community observations, okay, so that is assessment. All right, so to make it more concrete, okay, I take this definition of assessment from the art of assessment in psychology, okay. So it says here, assessment refers to the administration of multiple psychological tests instruments or techniques, as well as behavioral observation to obtain a pool of data. Okay, the interpretation of psychological assessment is art. Okay, it depends on inference, intuition, and creativity, and this includes during observation, the task of interpretation. Okay, assembling the data, utilizing the data into practical and usable format lah for the client. Right? Okay. Okay, this one is test and assessment. Okay, so basically, psychological testing was seen as much narrower in scope, referring only to the process of administering, scoring, and interpreting psychological tests. Okay, so it put major emphasis on the test scores or the result. And in contrast, the idea of assessment, problem-solving process and the outcome of the assessment depends on many factors such as objective itself, people, context, circumstances, as well as other variables unique to the particular situation. I think I have another one about this. Okay. So this is actually another difference here between test and assessment. Okay, that is in regard to their respective objective. Okay, so in testing, a typical objective is to measure the magnitude of some psychological trait or attribute. Okay, for example, if you want to measure someone intelligence or anxiety level, you administer a test. Okay, interpret the score, and you got the idea about those people intelligence or anxiety level as indicated by their test score. Okay, and I think most of the testing instruments is in the form of pen and pencil, right? Testing. Meanwhile, okay, assessment inputs. Okay, meanwhile in assessment, I think which always conducted on a one-to-one basis. The objective is more typically extends beyond obtaining a number or a score. Okay, so assessment involves an observation and also judgment by test administrator based on their knowledge, wisdom, skills, qualifications, and of course experience. Okay, and one of the examples of assessment is like when psychologists presents a series of pictures without captions and ask them ask the client to tell the story about what is happening in each of the pictures. Okay. So I think that's it about test and assessment. Okay, so I hope now you have a clear picture, right, about what are the difference between test and assessment. Okay. So type of psychological tests. I think you all know about this type of psychological tests. Okay, there are basically two kinds of tests. Okay, first is objective test, and second is projective. Okay, so the objective test, it requires the respondent to make a particular response to a structured set of instructions. Example, true, false, yes, no, or choose the correct answer. Okay, very objective. And the projective test is given in an ambiguous context in order to afford the respondent an opportunity to impose his or her own interpretation in answering. So projective test is important because it allows the respondent to express themselves without restrictions. Because we know that some psychological aspects, such as emotions, stress, or tensions, and they are difficult to be identified or measured with structured approach like the objective test. Okay, so that one is just very simple. Okay, so this is I just want to show you a typical example of objective test. Okay, such as there is an NPI, intelligence test for children, such as Wechsler intelligence scale for children, Wechsler adult intelligence scale, the Binet test, and so on. Okay, this is the basic one. And then these are example of thematic perception test. Okay, I think you can check this. There is a sample pictures, 10 sample pictures. I think all the pictures are very interesting. Okay, you can check from this website, Second Study. Okay, just show you quickly. Okay, and then another example of projective test, which I found interesting, is draw a person test. Okay, so draw a person test is a psychological projective personality or cognitive test used to evaluate children and adolescents for a variety of purposes: emotional disturbance, anxiety disorder, disruptive behavior, body image, stress, personality assessment, and so on. Okay. I think this test is widely used as well among the clinical psychologists. And of course, last but not least is the Rorschach test. Okay. So I think I've seen the original kit of this test during my first degree years in UIA. Okay, I'm sure it is a very expensive, and of course you need special training in administering and also in interpreting this test or the content of the response. And I've been informed actually for you to purchase this Rorschach test, okay, you cannot simply buy it because for you to purchase it you need to have a qualification. Okay, so yeah, I think you can read lah. Yeah, okay. So and I think I'm sure for the Rorschach test, a very abstract test, okay, that there are certain rules, okay, formula or calculations for its interpretation, okay, and you can go to this website and try to do the online Rorschach test, okay, just for fun, okay. So do not trust any interpretation based on the online apps. Okay, and then I just read the chat. I'm using AX for my patient. Shaliza, can you please explain more or tell us more about AX and what kind of patient that you
Sorry, Doctor. AX tu actually the assessment short form.
Short form. I'm using assessment for my patient. Okay, Shaliza, I forgot your background. Kerja kat mana ya?
I occupational therapy. So cadre from Kementerian Kesihatan Malaysia and Jabatan Kebajikan Masyarakat. So I'm working with two KKM and KPWKM, dua kementerian.
Okay, so your patient usually what is their problem? And
my patient usually autism, ADHD, learning, mental disorder.
Okay.
Macam psychiatric cases, something like that.
So your first degree is from which university?
University UiTM in health sciences.
I can see that you have quite extensive experience in using assessment, and it's very relevant.
For this, I'm not sure. Actually, we have so many assessment. For example, if we want to assess the client in visual, so we are different assessment that we need to relocate based the client condition.
All right, so interesting fact, but I don't know. I just think that why don't you take clinical psychology as your master's?
No, I'm taking cognitive neuroscience because I'm working with another company.
Okay.
So perform I'm doing something EEG for the special case lah.
So you are not working with the KKM and also the JKW?
I'm working government, and at the same time, actually, I have another part-time job with another company.
Okay, so that's why I'm wondering since since I think clinical psychology is more relevant to your career as those regular use of this testing and assessment. Okay. Okay, good to know that. Thank you, Shaliza, for your sharing. All right, so I think I have the last slide here. Okay, test battery. Okay, so this is actually another term here that you need to know when we are talking about psychological tests. Okay, test battery. So I hope that you know from Dr. Aini's class. Okay, so test battery refers to a collection of tests because psychologists usually they did not administer a psychological test in isolation of another different test. Okay, like what Shaliza said. Okay, there are various kind of tests because any one test cannot sufficiently answer the complex questions usually asked in the clinical settings. And most diagnostic questions require assessment of personality, intelligence, and perhaps even the presence of organic involvement. Okay? Okay, it's already 10. Okay, I need to take a few other minutes to finish those slides. Okay, last one. Okay, part 5. Okay, this won't take long lah. Okay, now we come to the final part of our lecture today. So we are going to check the ethical principles of psychological testing and assessment. Alright. So actually, here is the list of several aspects related to ethical guidelines of psychological tests and assessment. So this document of ethical guideline has been prepared by APS, okay, Australian Psychological Society. I will show you the document after this. Okay, so they discuss about this. Okay, let me show you the cover. Yeah. Okay, so this is the copy of the cover of the document. Okay, I will put it in our WhatsApp group. Okay, and I think for the standard document like this, it is better for you to read it on your own. Okay, because the explanation for each aspect, for ethical guidelines, for psychological assessment, and also the use of psychological tests has all been outlined in detail in this document. Okay, so I think there is no need to do further elaborations on the standard document. But I just want to show you how it looks inside. I think I have it here. Nice. Okay, you can just read it at home now. Okay, it's quite long. Okay, introduction. They talk about competence. Okay, in testing and assessment, what are the criteria, what are the steps that you need to look into. Okay, this is as a guide lah. Okay, and another clue, I think this one tak tanya who there is. Okay, so I will share with you at our WhatsApp group for this document by APS. Okay, this one is by Australian Psychological Society. Alright, so next I have slides on the example of ethical guidelines by APA. So other than the standard document on ethical guidelines for test and assessment introduced by APS, of course, APA has also come up with their own standard document for various ethical conduct for professionals. Okay, so these are examples of ethical codes by APA. Okay, so I just include the 6. Okay, 6. Okay, standards for educational and psychological measurement, forensic psychology, and this guideline were introduced when the field of forensic became more complex and complicated on 1991. And there is also guidelines for child custody evaluation in divorce proceedings and Right. Okay, next. Issues related to task ethics. Okay, so actually, these are the major issues related to task ethics. Okay, there is an issue of adequacy, administration, bias, security, and competence. Okay, but for today, I just want to focus on the issue of competence. Okay, so this issue of competence here it refers to the competency level and qualification of the test administrator. Okay, and when we talk about competence, the person who are in charge of administering and evaluating the scores or output, okay, they need to know their limit, okay, and of course to make a good judgment, because I think you all know that we have, like what Shaliza said, we have thousands of different psychological tests or instruments, okay. So it means that if you are good in administering and interpreting an intelligence test, it doesn't mean that you can also provide good interpretation or judgment on personality tests, especially for those tests that requires abstract interpretation. For example, the projective test, the TAT or such tests, and so on. Okay, so basically, as professionals, okay, they need or we need to know the limits or the scope of our knowledge and competence. Okay. So I think that for the other four, it's clear to you. All right. And next, I have this one. Okay. So I just want to briefly show you this document by APA. Okay, this one is not by APS. So this one is the revised version from the earlier standard documents, and it is effective on 1st January 2017. Okay, you can check it online. I just pick the document online. Okay. For today, I just want to focus on assessment part, number 9. And you can see that this standard document, it starts with general principles in ethical conduct, and I think this topic is important. Okay, so please do further readings on this issue, okay, and make sure that you understand each of the principles, and also you are able to provide example for each principle. Okay, so I hope that you can do more reading on this standard document, okay, because I really think that it doesn't need any further elaborations. Okay, so for the number 9 on assessment, they discuss about basis for assessments, okay, and also use of assessment, and then there is an issue on informed consent in assessment, okay, release of test data, because I think as a student in quantitative science, you're going to deal with a lot of research, okay, so please make yourself knowledgeable in terms of this testing and assessment, because it also relates to experimental setting as well. Okay, release of test data, and then there's something on test construction, interpreting assessment result, assessment by unqualified persons. Okay, so just to show you how important the competence or qualification is. Okay, obsolete tests and outdated test results, test scoring and interpretation service. Okay, and last 2 is explaining assessment result and also maintaining test security. I will also share this document in your WhatsApp group. All right. So yeah, I think that's it for our class today. Do you have any other issue that you want to raise or you want to read? It's just that please do more homework on things that I have really stressed during our class about beneficence and non-maleficence. Make sure that you really understand the concept on each of the yes.
Doctor?
Yeah.
Okay. Some people say that NLP, neuro linguistic programming, is pseudoscience. So I'd like to know your opinion on NLP. Is it pseudoscience? And if it is pseudoscience, is it ethical to practice NLP?
I don't know. I think for me personally, I don't like the idea of NLP. I think some of the idea or the key ideas of reading mind, it's more like focus your mind doing something. For me, I think my personal opinion is that I don't like the idea of NLP. That's it. Or maybe I might. Can you share more? Because maybe I'm ignorant, about what NLP really is. Can you explain more about what NLP is?
I don't actually know the details of it, but I've been hearing like the group in pseudoscience group in Malaysia talking about this issue. So since there is a topic in one of the courses is neuro-linguistic class under cognitive neuroscience. So that's why.
There is a who taught that course? Yeah, I think it's a new course or what? I'm not sure.
The cognitive neuro-linguistic is completely different than NLP.
That one is cognitive neuro-linguistic. Yeah, cognitive neuro-linguistic for me, I think it's okay. It's one of the scientific field of study. But for me, I think the one like, they speaker talk and then, motivate something. That one is neuro-linguistic programming, isn't it?
I think what Aiman was asking is whether the NLP is related to the course offered in this master's, the neuro-linguistic one. I have taken that course before, and then it's completely not related to NLP.
Okay, I'm not sure.
Yeah, neuro-linguistic not related with NLP's as Maru said.
And I do agree with Dr. Hafidah. NLP program is just misleading.
I don't like something. I don't know. I just don't like the idea of. I don't know how to say it because
the course is neuro-linguistic, right? Neuro-linguistic. I think I attend the course.
Okay.
But the course related with how we manage the related with our how to consult with the pupil and how we can we can together solve the problem, and then method we do the something like stress massage. Neuro-linguistic.
Yeah, I know.
We of course
something like power of persuasion, power of visualization, something like that, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. I have the idea, but I don't have a good knowledge in that. So I berani nak comment lah kot. But for me, I think it's something like power of mind. It's all pseudoscience. I don't know. I've never studied about that. Neuro-linguistic programming. Okay. I just found it here. It says neuro-linguistic programming is a pseudo-scientific approach to communication, personal development, and psychotherapy created by Richard Bandler. So, of course, it's a pseudo-scientific. But the one that you will take in cognitive neuroscience is called neuro-linguistic cognitive. Cognitive neuro-linguistic, right?
Yes.
Yes. So there's no word programming there. Yeah, just to show the power of you controlling your mind, the visualization and so on. Right? Okay, but thank you for that. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm not aware that you are taking a cognitive neuro-linguistic actually for this course. Okay, anything else? NLP technique. What are NLP techniques? Okay, I think I need to do more reading on this.
Doctor, just to share with you about psychological assessment, a lot of psychological tests or even mostly are standardized assessment tools, it cannot be conducted, like you said, a non-qualified person, because in order to buy the test, usually the publisher will ask your qualifications, and each of the tests has level of competency, whether the test is grade A, grade B, or grade C. Grade A, they can I can't remember what A, B, C, but it's something like grade A. Anybody can use the test. Grade B is certain qualification, and grade C is you need to have a doctorate level of using the test and all that. So that's why.
Is it like that?
Sorry.
D is like the highest qualification.
No.
No. Oh, from A. From A and D to D.
Yeah, A, B, C. Yeah.
Okay, so the highest is A.
I can't remember which one A, which one B, which one C lah. Basically, but that's why the psychologists are very concerned about people who are using the test. People who are going to interpret the test and all that.
Yes. Oh, thank you. I think my mentioned about this ABCD yesterday because my husband is a clinical psychologist. He did mention about this, but I forgot, or maybe I didn't pay attention.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, C means that a doctorate level. B is at least a master's level in the field or in the relevant field. A is something that anybody who are in the related field can use the test.
Oh, so it's like license for clinical psychologists, yeah.
Yeah, the more complex the test, the higher the qualification is. Because it involves a lot of scoring and psychometric properties of the test that need interpretation by a qualified person.
Mm-hmm. And I don't know what this is or not, but I've heard someone say that if you want to be the one who are able to use the projective test, the abstract test, you need that particular training in that test, like Rosage. Okay, you need to spend I don't know, maybe a year for you to learn that test, something like that. Is it true? Do you have any idea about this?
Many of the tests basically requires training. Like myself, I bought a lot of tests for my field, and then I need to go some training to learn about the test as well. But if the company does not provide the training, I have to contact the person who knows about the test, or probably the author of the test, to help me to conduct the test.
Even if it's pen test.
Sorry, doctor?
Even if it is a simple pen pencil test?
Depends on the complexity of the test, doctor. If it's not complex, it does not involve a lot of interpretation. Maybe you can just read through the manual, that easily understood. So, but if it involves a lot of scoring and administration, and then you need to be careful in terms of changing the score into a certain criteria and all that,
Because it involves, then you also consider the conditions of the patients or your client itself, right?
Yes, because
No, I know. Okay, thank you, Asmara, for your sharing.
no problem.
And Shalisa said, and Asmara, just wonder, what are the kind of tests that you are most familiar with, or what kind of test or assessment that speech therapists use?
Well, I use tests for diagnosing people or individual with speech and language disorders, and also adult with language difficulties and speech difficulties. But with the nature of my job, I also work closely with the clinical psychologists and occupational therapists, so I do know a bit about their assessment tools and also the assessment that they used. And then we usually work together to compare the result between, for example, my result related to language, and then also the result from the clinical psychologist, that related to communication, cognitive, and behavior and all that.
Oh, so university. And then okay, what are the difference between language difficulties and speech difficulties?
Well, speech is involved the way that we produce. Language is how we we understand and formulate the language, to produce the speech. So, for example, speech is in the simplest way is looking at the person's articulation abilities, voice problem ke. Tapi language is about whether the person can understand or receive the information and also interpret and also formulate what they want to produce, like forming the sentences, recalling the words.
And I think some cases which is children with bilingual parents, they usually become confused, whether to use English and Malay, so they mix. So is that can be considered as language difficulties?
No, bilingualism is just part of the what do you call that? One issues that need to tackle when children develop the language. So whether that bilingualism affect the way that children's develop the speech and language or not. Some children might be having difficulty because of they learn two languages at the same time, but depending on whether they have problem to formulate and then turn the language into speech or not, but yes, that is a huge issues for countries or who have more than one ethnicity or more than one languages live in the same country like us.
Who encountered this same situation. Okay, her children is confused, don't know how to use or to differentiate between this Malay and English and so on.
That's code switching problem.
Code switching. Yeah, I heard about that. Code switching. All right. Is there anyone who want to share anything else? Code switching problems. All right. So basically for today, that's it now, yeah. Law and ethics, okay, and we discuss about moral philosophy. It won't come up in the exam, okay. Principle of ethics. Please do further readings. Overview of psychological testing and assessment, yeah. Ethics in psychological testing and assessment. I will give you the document after this. All right. So I think with that, yeah, we end our class today. Okay. I always forgot to do a recap for our class GCN501. Yesterday also I always have these slides, recap slides, okay, and I always forget to do a recap, okay. So okay, so please stay safe everyone, and okay, pray for us lah ya in HUS.
Doctor?
Yes.
I want to ask about the assignment for the presentation. Because my presentation will going under doctor. So when the due date?
When is the due date for your presentation or for your assignment?
For the, I think this one is presentation.
Okay, I forgot. Assignment is under the Tanzim. Presentation. Let me check. I think I have give you the list. I will forward it to our WhatsApp group. Okay. So I think you're going to present on 2nd of January, Saturday.
Oh, 2nd of January. So the presentation no need to submit in the written assignment, right, Doctor?
Presentation. For assignment, I think it's a different topic, right? Yeah, for written assignment, it's a different thing. It is Dr. Azim and Dr. Nasir. So I'm not sure about.
Yeah, so the presentation the doctor only we present and no need to prepare in written assignment.
No need.
Okay. Thank you, Doctor.
Okay, is there anything else? So the presentation under me is on 27th of December and 2nd of January. Okay, so I hope that you don't have any problem now here to prepare for this assignment. Okay, so with that, we end our class today. Okay, so I need to drive home, so I don't want to be too late. All right, so Assalamualaikum everyone and good night.
Good night, doctor. Stay safe.
Okay.
Thank you, Doctor. Take
Thank you,
care.
doctor.
Bye. Okay, and